Hey YouTube, today we're taking a look at LEGO art, and our first build is the Harry Potter Hogwarts Crest. Hey guys, and welcome to Brick Talk TV. Terry here, and in today's episode we're going to be taking a look at this LEGO art set for the Harry Potter Hogwarts Crest set. This is set number 31201, and it consists of a whopping 4,249 pieces, costing at the moment £114.99 in the UK. Inside the box, it's quite a different experience from a standard set. The box opens up a bit like a pizza box, and inside you'll find parts bagged up by the colour type. In this set there are around 8 bags because of the colour variations, and there are also additional bags which house the parts required to build the surrounding picture frame. You also have a box that contains the 16 by 16 grid pieces that are required for you to attach the 1 by 1 round pieces to form the picture. You have an instruction manual and detail on how you can listen to a soundtrack that goes alongside this set, so you can listen as you're building. Similar to the 3-in-1 set, this set can be constructed to arrive at different outcomes. In this set you have all the parts required to build the 4 house crests of Hogwarts, namely Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff. You can also buy 4 of these sets to combine them to make an uber LEGO picture of the main Hogwarts crest. So let's flip over now and take a closer look at the finished picture. So here you can see the finished picture of the Gryffindor crest, as this is the one that I'm aiming to display in the LEGO room. I've built all 4 variations of this set, and I did those during a live stream build, so if you're interested to watch those, I'll stick a card up here and I'll put a link in the description to each of the different streams so you can see how they turned out and how they were constructed. But this is the final picture that I'll be hanging up in the LEGO room. As you can see here, the picture is fairly big. You actually make it up by 3 by 3 sets of grids that come across here and down here. And so you start construction based on the grid system. So if you consider this first part here would be the first stage of the build, then the instructions tell you how to place each individual piece on the grid. And you start to build these up and connect them using Technic pins to form this overall picture. As you can see, some of them get quite detailed. You have to be careful to make sure that you don't mess up. There's obviously a new extended tool which allows you to pick up 4 of these off the grid if you make a mistake, or you can take them off individually if you like. You start to build it all up row by row, going across from left to right. And then at the end, if you're happy with the particular picture, you start to form this frame around the edge. And these are built up of different tiles and plates, and also a couple of normal bricks, just to give you the thickness of the frame. Overall, I think it's quite sturdy and it's quite a nice size. I am tempted to get 4 of these sets to build the larger Hogwarts crest to take up a larger section of the room. But for now, I've just got this. As you can see from the live streams when you go through them, I did build all 4 variations of this. I started with Slytherin, moved through to Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and then to Gryffindor, the final one, because that's the one I wanted to display in the LEGO room. When I first started to build these, it's quite boring and repetitive. It did feel a little bit like a mission, but I don't know whether that was because I was on a live stream and trying to get the whole build done in one go for each of these variations. And maybe if I had a chance to listen to the soundtrack, which I didn't during the build because of the stream, and I took my time, then maybe I would have found this more enjoyable. But I think for me, building these, I kind of lost a bit of creativity, whereas in a normal set, I kind of know what the end goal is going to look like, and you kind of see it come to life and build all the individual details inside the models. This, of course, is just a sort of a 2D picture, and so you're just kind of sticking pieces onto a grid that ultimately end up building this picture you see here. But for me, it's kind of lacked that sense of achievement for me at the end, and that I was going in the right direction. Nonetheless, I imagine that some people will find this variation on the LEGO approach interesting and fun build. And there are a variety now, as you know, of different pictures that you can build, from Mickey Mouse to the Beatles to the Andy Warhol, Marilyn Monroe picture. And I'm sure LEGO will be issuing future variations of this LEGO art set as we go through. I do quite like the idea of being able to add multiple sets to this to build an uber Hogwarts crest. And that's probably more interesting. And I think a couple of other people have found the larger pictures, such as the Darth Vader or the Iron Man pictures, to be the more interesting builds because they're larger. Not to take anything away from the size of these pictures, because I think if you did build all 4 of these separately, it would look nice hung in any LEGO room. So let's take a quick flip around the back. In terms of structure, there's not too much to it. You can see here that these are the grid pieces. So you've got the 9 pieces here. You do connect them together using these plate pieces just to add some structure to the Technic pins, which are positioned on each edge, so it all interconnects with each other. And then you start to add these plates around the edge just to give you a bit of a lip, to add extra bricks on top to give the thickness of the frame, which then ends up with a tile on top. You have these two pieces here, which are obviously used to hang the picture up. And of course, these have been recent addition to the Lego piece catalogue. And you might have seen it in the Batwing if you built the Batwing, and of course in any other Lego art series. But these are the main methods for hanging your pieces of art up on the walls. They do connect with Technic pins, so you can reposition them if you need to, given your particular wall. But this is how the instructions recommend that you place them. On the sideways, you can see the thickness here of the frame itself. So it's 2 bricks high, plate at the bottom and a tile on top. So you're kind of looking at almost 3 bricks thick in terms of the frame, but not quite, just under that. So it's a nice sturdy frame, kind of what you'd expect from a big thick black frame on a normal picture actually, which is quite nice. And then of course in the bottom left hand corner, you have a printed tile with the Harry Potter logo on. This is an optional addition. The instructions do give you a variation where you can fill it in with these grey silver pieces, but I've chosen to make sure that I put the Harry Potter printed tile on there. And of course, because you can do the 4 variations on this picture, you do end up with lots of spare parts at the end. If you see the other variations, Slytherin obviously has lots of green in it, Ravenclaw has lots of blue in it, and Hufflepuff has lots of sort of mustardy yellow colours in it. And of course, they're left over because I'm not actually using them. So I've got lots of bags of these 1x1 round pieces left over. And I suppose you could work out the additional pieces you need to build another picture without buying a whole new set. But that's probably more trouble than it's worth. And so maybe I can use the spares for some other things in the future. But I do have quite a few now scattered around. So overall, I'm really pleased with the finished product. And in the future, I think I will definitely expand this to combine an extra 3 sets to make it a larger Hogwarts Crest. I'll probably wait until those sets are reduced in price, because this was, as I said, £115. And if you're going to get 4 of them, that would be quite an expensive picture. So I'll probably wait until they're discounted over the season. Hopefully that will happen at some point. But these are relatively new, only coming out in January time. As I mentioned, I did find the build a bit of a chore during the live streams, but I think that was probably because it was a live stream and I wasn't totally immersed in the soundtrack and building it at my own sort of pace. Of course, being lots of the same part as well, I did find that my finger was starting to hurt at the end of it, or halfway through, feeling the need to get it done. I did keep pushing through the pain barrier to try and get it done, but it kind of reminded me of when you built the roller coaster set, where you're trying to stick those pieces through the rods to get the pillars of the roller coaster. I found that also did encroach on the fingers, and this is a similar process. In terms of actually stripping it down, because I did reset this set, every week when I was building it on the live stream, using the tool to take all the pieces off actually was a fairly quick task to do. It took me about 20 minutes, I think, something like that, to take them apart and actually separate them into the separate colour buckets I had. And that is also an excellent tip to do as well when you're building this, and thanks to the live stream viewer that suggested it, was to empty the separate coloured pieces into separate Tupperware dishes, just to speed it up so you're not having to go through the plastic bags to get the pieces out as you're building. I think if you did want to try something new within the Lego space, and this is a really good set to try something and experience something new. I'm sure that it is a little expensive for some, so the price point may be a little expensive, but if you're willing to give it a go or see it in the sale, then it's probably worth a go to build something that you really admire, whether it be this Harry Potter Crest set or whether it be a different one of the range. I'm sure that given the first go, I think you'll enjoy it, and at least you have something at the end of the day to hang up on the wall somewhere in one of the maybe guest rooms or spare room if you're not too keen on it in the end. So hopefully you found this review interesting or helpful. If you did, hit that like button, as it does help us get views and grow the channel. Also hit that subscribe button with the bell notification turned on to be notified of future Harry Potter inspired reviews. And until next time, stay safe and I'll see you then.